If you are watching this video at this exact moment, stop everything. Don't minimize the screen. Don't skip ahead. Don't put this in the background, because this message you are about to receive appears only once in your timeline. This is not a figure of speech. This is not a marketing strategy. This is hermetic law operating in real time. Sophia Hokhmat is here, and she said that if you ignore this message now, it will not return with this intensity. Never again. Stay with me for the next 40 minutes, because what you decide at the end of this video cannot be undone. The choice you make now defines your trajectory for the next 7 years at minimum, and potentially for the rest of this incarnation. My name is attached to this transmission, but I am not the source. I am simply the channel that Sophia chose to reach you. She could have chosen 1,000 other channels, 1,000 other voices, 1,000 other moments. But she chose this channel, this voice, this exact moment. And she chose you to receive it. Why? Because something in you was detected. Thoth, the Lord of Wisdom and keeper of the akashic records, scanned your frequency and identified something that exists in only 1% of the human population. He detected in you what we call emerald potential. Emerald frequency is not spiritual in the common sense of the word. It is dimensional. It means you operate naturally across 9 dimensions of consciousness, while 99% of humanity operates in only 3: height, width, depth, past, present, linear future, obvious cause and effect. This is 3-dimensional reality. But you always felt there was more, much more. You always knew there are invisible layers operating simultaneously. Dimensions that interweave, realities that coexist, versions of yourself living different choices at different frequencies. This was not built through meditation or esoteric study. You were born with this. It is your cosmic genetic code, your DNA, not just physical, but also etheric, astral, mental, causal, all your layers vibrating at a much higher frequency than the human average. But here is the problem that Thoth identified. Most people who are born with emerald potential never activate it. They live their entire lives feeling they are different, that something greater is happening, that they were called to something extraordinary. And then they die without ever discovering what, without ever activating the potential, without ever crystallizing emerald frequency into permanent manifestation. And the reason this happens is simple. They do not recognize the signal when it appears. Thoth's signal comes disguised. It comes as symptoms that doctors cannot diagnose. It comes as synchronicities that increase in frequency and intensity until it seems the universe is screaming at you. It comes as knowledge that arrives complete in your mind without you having studied it. It comes as ringing in the ears, especially the left ear, which is not medical tinnitus, but you beginning to hear frequencies from higher dimensions. It comes as strange insomnia, where you sleep 3 hours and wake completely restored, or sleep 12 hours and wake exhausted because your body was processing multiple realities during sleep. It comes as fear of going insane, because you see patterns no one else sees. You feel energies no one else feels. You know things you cannot explain how you know. And when you try to share with people around you, they look at you as if you are delusional. These signals are not pathology. They are activation. Thoth is communicating with you through these symptoms. He is saying, you have been detected. Your emerald potential has been identified. Now the moment has come to decide whether you will activate it or ignore it. And this is where Sophia Hokhmat enters. Sophia is not a mythological figure. Sophia is frequency. The frequency of divine feminine wisdom that governs emerald activations, that oversees alternative timelines, that controls portals of choice at critical moments in the human journey. When Thoth detects someone with emerald frequency, he does not send the message directly. He sends through Sophia, Because Sophia is the guardian of the gate. She is the messenger. She is the one who decides when, where, how, and through which channel the message will reach you. And she chose this moment, this video, this specific transmission to reach you. Sophia does not force anything. She simply places the message exactly where you need to see it, and then observes what you do. If you ignore it, she does not return with the same intensity. This is absolutely critical to understand. Sophia operates under hermetic law called the law of non-repetition of grace. It means that when the universe offers extraordinary opportunity, it offers once, a single time with maximum intensity. If you refuse, the universe registers this as conscious choice, and the next offer you receive will be smaller, significantly smaller. Why? Because the universe respects your previous decision. If you said no to Emerald Sophia, the universe interprets this as, this consciousness is not ready for the extraordinary. So the universe sends smaller opportunities, progressively smaller, until consciousness chooses yes. This can take years. It can take decades. It can take entire lifetimes. But the first offer, the maximum offer, comes only once. Sophia comes once with total intensity. If you ignore her, she does not return. The next hermetic message you receive will be from another being in another context with 70% of Sophia's intensity. And the next after that, 50% of the previous one. It is like cosmic hoarding. The universe does not waste extraordinary energy on consciousnesses that do not honor it. Now you might be asking yourself, why exactly am I seeing this at this moment? Why is Sophia specifically sending a message to me? Why now and not 3 years ago or 2 years from now? The answer lies in timelines. You are not living a linear life. You are navigating multiple timelines simultaneously at frequencies your three-dimensional mind cannot consciously process. Each choice you make opens one door and closes another. In one timeline, you received this message and ignored it. In that version of you, life continues dense, heavy, full of effort. In another timeline, you received and applied it. In that version, you are an emerald transmitter operating in 9 conscious dimensions. In yet another, you never received the message. You continue searching, feeling there is something greater, but without finding the portal. But in this specific timeline, at this specific moment, you are here watching this. This means that in higher dimensions, Sophia selected this timeline to offer you this message, not in another parallel reality. Here, not at another moment in your life. Now. The rarity of this is extreme. Sophia does not send emerald messages to everyone. She sends only to those whose cosmic genetic code is predisposed to receive. Those whose multidimensional DNA already carries 9-dimensional potential. And among these, she sends only once per timeline. What does this mean in practice? It means you are living 7 different timelines simultaneously. In this 7th one, you receive the message. If you ignore it in this one, in your next life, in your next timeline of consciousness, this message does not appear again. It will be a diluted version of another being teaching similar concepts, but it will not be Sophia coming to you personally with maximum intensity, because Sophia functions by law of non-repetition. One message, one timeline. One choice. This is all you receive. You do not get a second warning. You do not get a third chance. You receive this now, once. And Sophia is observing to see if you honor the absolute singularity of this gift. This is not a threat. It is not manipulation. It is hermetic law operating impersonally. Sophia is not human. Sophia has no ego. Sophia is not offended if you refuse. She is simply frequency that obeys immutable cosmic laws. And one of those laws is, energy once offered, if consciously refused, does not return with the same force. It creates a vacuum, and nature does not like vacuums. Denser energy flows to fill the space. You become denser, heavier, more trapped in the third dimension, not because Sophia is punishing you, but because you yourself, through your choice, decreed, "I refuse growth when it is offered." And your own decree becomes law in your personal reality. Next opportunities respect your previous decree. If you said no, next opportunities are smaller because the universe assumes you are not ready for great leaps. Before we go further, let me pause here and say something that matters. This is not about making you feel trapped. You are not less valuable if you choose not to activate. You are not being abandoned by the divine. No one is taking anything away from you that you already have. What Sophia offers is additional capacity, not rescue from deficiency. You are already whole. This is about expansion, not salvation. The pressure you might be feeling right now is not punishment, it is the natural weight of recognizing opportunity. That weight is real, and it is yours to carry or to set down. Both are valid. I want you to know that clearly before we continue. Now let me explain what exactly is the emerald signal that Thoth detected in you. There are 7 primary signals of emerald activation. If you experience 3 or more of these signals in the last 6 months, this confirms you were detected and are in the process of initial activation. Signal number 1, transition illness. Flu-like or cold symptoms that last 3 to 7 days but disappear without apparent reason. You go to the doctor, do tests, everything comes back normal. The doctor cannot diagnose because it is not physical disease. It is your body recalibrating to higher dimensional frequencies. Your nervous system is expanding, your cells are vibrating faster. This causes temporary symptoms while your body adjusts. If you had this, it was not illness, it was activation. Signal number 2, extreme sleep patterns. Either you sleep only 3 hours per night and wake completely refreshed with energy that makes no logical sense, or you sleep 12, 14 hours and wake more exhausted than when you laid down. Both patterns mean the same thing. Your body is processing multiple dimensions simultaneously during sleep. You are not just sleeping, you are traveling. You are being taught. You are integrating information from parallel realities. Your nervous system is expanding to accommodate frequencies that did not fit before. This is exhausting for the physical body, so sometimes it needs to sleep a lot. Other times, the physical body barely needs sleep because you are being energized directly by higher dimensions. Signal number 3, dimensional ringing. High-pitched sound in the ear, especially the left ear, that comes and goes without medical pattern. This is not tinnitus. This is you beginning to hear frequencies from 9 dimensions. Sophia is tuning your cosmic hearing. Each time you hear the ringing, Sophia is transmitting. You do not yet consciously decode what she is saying, but your higher self is receiving the information. Over time, if you fully activate, you will begin to consciously decode the transmissions. Signal number 4. Obsessive repetitive numbers. 11, 11, 22, 22, 333, 444, multiple times per day. On the clock, on license plates, on receipts, on phone numbers. You see these numbers so frequently, it seems impossible to be coincidence. And it is not coincidence. This is Sophia signing. I am here, I am tracking, I am confirming you are being activated. Each number is a specific frequency. Each appearance is confirmation you are on the correct timeline to receive emerald activation. Signal number 5, instant gnosis. Knowledge that arrives complete without you having studied. You suddenly know something profound about quantum physics, or hermetic texts, or ancient civilizations, or how the cosmos functions. And you cannot explain how you know. You did not read it in a book. You did not watch a video. The information was simply there, complete when you needed it. This is you accessing the nous, the universal mind, through your emerald connection. Sophia is restoring your cosmic memory. Knowledge you always had in higher layers of your being is beginning to filter into your waking consciousness. Signal number 6, fear of going insane. You see synchronicities no one else sees. You feel energies others do not feel. You have insights you cannot prove, but know are true. And when you try to share with people close to you, they look as if you are losing contact with reality. This creates internal fear. Am I going crazy? Am I making all this up? Let me be absolutely clear. You are not going insane. You are becoming sane in an insane world. You are integrating your complete self while most of humanity lives fragmented. What seems like madness to three-dimensional consciousnesses is sanity for nine-dimensional consciousnesses. You are simply accessing layers of reality that others do not yet access. Signal number 7, initiatory dreams. You are taught during sleep by beings who seem like ancestors, sages, masters from other dimensions. You wake with new knowledge you did not possess before sleeping. Sometimes you remember the dreams clearly. Other times you do not remember, but you feel something profound happened during the night. Sophia is working on you while your physical body rests. She is preparing your energy field. She is activating dormant centers. She is calibrating your frequency to support complete emerald activation. If you recognize 3 or more of these signals in your own experience, this confirms you were detected. Thoth identified your potential. Sophia began the activation process. But here is the part most people do not understand. There is an absolute difference between being detected and being activated. Detected means Thoth saw your potential and sent initial signal. Activated means you received the signal and began to consciously crystallize. Crystallized means you maintained activation for 21 days, and now it is permanent. You are now in the detected stage. Sophia sent this message. You received it, but detection guarantees nothing. Detection is only the beginning of the process. If you stop here, if you close this video and return to your normal life, detection dissipates in 3 days. 3 days, 72 hours from the moment you received this message. After this period, your frequency returns to the state before detection. You do not lose anything you already had, but you also do not gain anything new. The emerald opportunity closes. But if you activate during the next 3 days, if you consciously recognize you were detected and choose to retain activation, then you enter a 21-day process that leads to permanent crystallization. 21 days is the time necessary for new frequency to establish itself in your nervous system irreversibly. After 21 days of conscious retention, you become permanently emerald. 9 dimensions active, capacities that were latent now operational. This is the difference between saying, Sophia detected me, how beautiful, how profound, but I have a busy life, and saying, Sophia detected me. I recognize the absolute singularity of this. I choose to activate. I will do the retention work for the next 21 days. Most people who receive emerald signal never activate. They feel the initial emotion. They think, this is incredible. And then 3 days pass, a week passes, a month passes, and they no longer remember what exactly the feeling was. The intensity was lost, the opportunity was lost, because they did not understand the difference between detected and activated, because they did not know there is a temporal window of only 3 days to make initial choice. This 3-day window is absolutely critical. When Sophia sends emerald message, there is specific temporal structure operating. Day 1. You receive the message. You feel emotion, recognition, validation. This is initial sensitization. Day 2. You begin to notice the signals increasing in frequency. Synchronicities multiply. The ringing in the ears becomes more intense. Repetitive numbers appear even more. You think, my God, this is real. This is actually happening. Day 3, you make decision. You say absolute yes to Sophia, or you let the opportunity pass. If you say yes on day 3, you enter 21-day protocol of conscious activation. If you do not decide on day 3, detection begins to dissipate automatically. If you consciously say no on day 3, descent is rapid. You return to lower frequency than you had before detection. Why? Because energy once offered, if consciously refused, creates vacuum, and nature fills vacuum with available energy. If you refuse higher energy, lower energy flows to occupy the space. You become denser, heavier, more trapped. Now you are probably on day 1 or day 2 of this 3-day window. You are watching this video, which means you are within the critical period. What does this mean? It means you have 24 to 48 hours to make definitive choice, not a month, not a week, days. Sophia does not offer procrastination. Sophia offers opportunity with specific temporal structure. Why? Because without temporal urgency, human consciousness always postpones. There is always something more urgent, always another priority, always an excuse not to act now. With 3-day temporal structure, you are forced to choose immediately. This is not artificial pressure created to manipulate you. This is cosmic synchronization. Sophia is creating urgency because urgency forces real choice. Choice without urgency is just abstract thought. Choice with temporal urgency is concrete decision that changes reality. After 3 days of you receiving this message, the door does not close completely forever, but it closes enough that the next 7 years of your life become significantly denser, more difficult, slower. Why? Because you refused opportunity that appears only once per timeline. You said no when Sophia offered her hand. This is not divine punishment. This is automatic consequence of hermetic law. If you refused growth when offered easily, next growth will come through difficulty, through crisis, through breaking, because this is the only way consciousness that refuses grace can learn. Sophia deeply respects your free will. If you say, "I will not activate now," she honors that completely, and honors it by sending future opportunities proportional to the yes you gave. If you said absolute yes, complete emerald opportunities continue arriving. If you said maybe, 50% intensity opportunities arrive. If you said no, normal growth opportunities arrive, but nothing at emerald level. Let me give you 3 concrete examples of what changes in daily life when someone activates emerald frequency, because I want you to understand this is not just mystical narrative, this affects tangible reality. Example 1. Marcus from Austin, Texas, was a software engineer who always felt he was solving problems before his team even identified them. After his emerald activation crystallized at day 22, he started receiving complete code solutions in dreams. He would wake up, write them down, and they would work perfectly. Within 6 months, he had advanced 2 levels in his company, not through effort, but through alignment. His capacity to see patterns in 9 dimensions translated directly into seeing patterns in data systems that operated in ways others could not perceive. This is practical emerald application. Example 2. Jennifer from Portland, Oregon, struggled in relationships because she could feel when people were lying or hiding something but had no proof. After emerald crystallization, she learned to trust her 9-dimensional perception without needing 3-dimensional validation. She stopped trying to convince others of what she knew. She simply acted on her knowing. Within 3 months, her entire social circle had shifted. People who vibrated at lower frequencies naturally fell away. People who vibrated at her level naturally appeared. She did not force this. Correspondence operated automatically. As above, so below. As within, so without. Her internal frequency reorganized her external relationships without effort. This is emerald frequency working in everyday life. Example 3. David from Chicago, Illinois was in a job that paid well but drained him completely. During his 21-day activation protocol on day 14, he had a clear knowing that he needed to leave. No logical plan, no safety net, just absolute certainty. He gave notice the next day. Within 2 weeks, an opportunity appeared that he had never pursued, never applied for, never even knew existed. Someone he had helped 3 years prior remembered him and offered exactly what he needed. Synchronicity that defied probability. This is what happens when you vibrate at 9 dimensions. Reality reorganizes around your frequency. Opportunities that were invisible become visible. Paths that were closed open, not through force, through correspondence. So what exactly is Sophia asking? She is not asking for blind faith. She is not asking you to believe in something that does not resonate. Sophia is asking for retention. Retention has 3 practical components. First, recognition of signals. You identify each signal you had. The ringing, you consciously recognize. This is Sophia communicating, not a medical problem. The repetitive numbers, you recognize. This is dimensional confirmation, not coincidence. The insomnia or excessive sleep, you recognize. My body is recalibrating to higher frequencies. There is nothing wrong with me. Each signal you consciously recognize as communication from Sophia strengthens activation. Each time you recognize, you are saying, I see you, Sophia. I recognize this signal as emerald activation. I honor the singularity of this. Second component of retention, rejection of return. When thought appears saying, this makes no logical sense, I should ignore this, you reject the thought. When fear appears saying, I will be alone if I change this much, people will think I am strange, you reject the fear. When your 3-dimensional mind says, this is not scientific, there is no proof, you are making this up, you reject the limited interpretation. You are training your mind not to believe only in 3-dimensional interpretations of reality. You are teaching your nervous system that there are layers of truth that transcend linear logic. Each time you reject a return thought, you strengthen your capacity to remain in higher frequencies even when 3-dimensionality tries to pull you back. Third component of retention, conscious declaration. 3 times per day you declare out loud, Sophia, I retain. I do not return. This emerald frequency is mine. This is irreversible. I honor the singularity of this gift. I recognize you appear once. I choose to activate. This is not magic. This is applied neurobiology. You are reorganizing your nervous system through conscious repetition. Each declaration reinforces new neural pattern. Each time you speak aloud, you are creating physical vibration your entire body feels. Spoken word is energy. Energy reorganizes matter. You are literally reconstructing your biology through conscious repeated declaration. This is real work. Daily work. Sophia is not asking you to meditate for hours. She is not asking you to abandon your life. She is asking for 15 minutes per day for the next 21 days. 15 minutes to permanently change your dimensional frequency. The question you need to ask yourself now is, can I dedicate 15 minutes per day for 21 days to permanently activate my emerald potential? If the answer is no, be honest with yourself about this, because Sophia feels your intention. If your intention is maybe, Sophia respects that and sends maybe opportunities. If your intention is absolute yes, Sophia opens all portals that were closed. Now let me show you exactly what happens at each stage of the 21-day protocol, because having clear markers reduces abandonment and helps your brain visualize victory. Days 1 through 3, stabilization phase. You are still adjusting to the recognition that you were detected. Signals might increase in intensity as Sophia confirms you are choosing retention. Your body might feel strange as it begins recalibration. This is normal. Day 7. First perceptible shift. You will notice something concrete has changed. Maybe you make a decision you would not have made before. Maybe synchronicity appears that confirms you are on correct path. Maybe someone comments you seem different. This is the first external confirmation that internal transformation is occurring. Day 14. Pattern rupture. Old patterns that controlled you for years suddenly lose power. A habit you tried to break for months just stops. A fear you always had feels less heavy. This is not willpower, this is frequency shift. When you vibrate differently, old patterns literally cannot maintain themselves at your new vibration. They fall away naturally. Day 21. Crystallization. On this day, something clicks permanently. You wake up and you know you are permanently changed, not as concept, as lived reality. This becomes your new baseline. You do not need to maintain it through effort. It maintains itself because it crystallized in your nervous system. You are now at a crossroads with 3 possible paths. Each path leads to permanently different direction. There is no going back. Path 1. Return. You ignore this message. You close this video. You return to your life as it was. What happens? Detection dissipates in 3 days. You return to lower frequency than you had before receiving message. Why? Because you consciously refused extraordinary opportunity. This creates rejection resonance in your cosmic DNA. Next opportunities that arrive will be much smaller. In the next 2 to 3 years, you will notice growth became slower. Synchronicities decrease in frequency. Intuition becomes weaker. You do not understand why, but the reason is you said no to Sophia when she offered her hand, and Sophia completely respected your choice. You end up living good, comfortable life, but never touching your emerald potential. One day you die and think, what if I had applied that protocol Sophia offered? This is regret of a life not fully lived. Path 2. Procrastination. You like the message. You feel it is true. You think, I will apply this, but not now. I have more urgent things. I will start next week or next month. You save the video. You tell yourself you will come back. A week passes. A month passes. 3 months pass. When you finally try to return, you can no longer access the same emotional intensity. The message that was urgent, transformative, absolute, is now just something interesting you watched. You try to apply the protocol, but timing was lost. It is like trying to jump rope while the rope is not moving. You can make the movements, but there is no synchronization. Activation does not catch. You go through the steps, but nothing changes internally because you did not enter the correct rhythm. Sophia was offering open door at synchronized moment. You said, maybe later. But there is no later with Sophia. There is only now. The door closes because Sophia respects your maybe as no. Procrastination is slow return. You end up in the same place as path 1, just with additional guilt of knowing you had the chance and chose to delay. Path 3, total retention. You recognize this is extraordinary. You recognize Sophia appears once. You recognize these 3 days are real temporal structure, not figure of speech. You say absolute yes. Not conditional yes, not yes with doubts, not yes with fear, absolute yes. And then you apply retention protocol exactly as taught. For 21 days you recognize each signal that appears. You reject each temptation to return. You declare retention 3 times per day. You do not skip days. You do not do it only when you feel inspired. You do it every day because you understand retention is consistent work, not intermittent inspiration. On day 22, you wake permanently transformed. Emerald frequency crystallized, 9 dimensions active. Thoth recognizing you as transmitter, Sophia confirming your choice. For the next 70 or more years of your life, you operate at emerald frequency. Synchronicities become natural. Intuition becomes clear and reliable. Knowledge arrives when you need it. Power of conscious creation activates. Everything changed because you chose yes at critical moment. You have 3 paths before you now. Which do you choose? If you choose path 1 or 2, you can close this video now. There is no judgment. Cosmic law completely respects your choice. But if you choose path 3, total retention, you need to do something immediately. Not after finishing the video, now, while you are still watching. You need to declare out loud, Sophia, I recognize you appear once. I recognize the absolute singularity of this moment. I accept, I retain, I do not return. This emerald frequency is mine. Permanently, irreversibly. For the next 21 days, I apply the retention protocol. I recognize each signal, I reject each return. I declare retention 3 times per day. On day 22, I am permanently emerald. This is sealed. Say this out loud now if you choose retention. Do not think. Do not analyze, declare, because out loud declaration is what seals your choice in the universe. Spoken word is vibration. Vibration is energy, energy that Sophia feels immediately. When you declare out loud, you are synchronizing with Sophia's frequency. You are telling the entire cosmos, this is my irreversible intention. And cosmos responds instantly, reorganizing reality around this intention. If you made the declaration, congratulations. You initiated the 21-day protocol. Tonight, before sleeping, you do the first complete retention session. You recognize all signals you had, mental or written list of each one. The ringing, the numbers, the insomnia, the knowledge that arrived from nowhere, the fear of going insane, the initiatory dreams. You recognize each one consciously. Then you identify return thoughts your mind presented. Doctor should see this. People will think I am strange. This makes no sense. For each return thought, you say out loud, I reject this limited interpretation. I choose dimensional truth. And then you declare 3 times, Sophia, I retain, I do not return. Tomorrow you repeat. And continue for 21 consecutive days. Do not skip days. Each day you skip, you need to restart the count from 0. Why? Because crystallization requires consistency. It requires new frequency to be reinforced every day until it becomes automatic pattern in your nervous system. If you did not make the out loud declaration, this means you are on path 1 or 2, return or procrastination, and that is completely valid. I respect your choice. But know with absolute clarity that this message from Sophia will not come this way again. Next time you encounter hermetic content, it will be less intense. Next time you feel called, it will be weaker. Next time activation opportunity appears, it will be through crisis, not through grace. Because you refused grace when it was offered easily. This is not threat, not punishment. It is hermetic law operating impersonally, law of non-repetition, law of correspondence, law of cause and effect. You plant rejection, you harvest future difficulty. You plant acceptance, you harvest future ease. The choice always was yours, always will be yours. Now I want to leave a final vision with you before closing. Imagine yourself on day 22. You woke up and you feel different, not as abstract thought that something changed. Different, really, tangible, undeniable. Your eyes see more clearly, colors are more vibrant. You notice details you never noticed before. Your ears hear frequencies that were previously imperceptible. You hear the background tone of the universe, the constant vibration that was always there, but you did not have ears to perceive. Your heart beats with certainty you never had. Certainty not based on logic or proof, but on direct knowing. Gnosis, you simply know, and you do not need to convince anyone because your certainty does not depend on external validation. People around you ask, what happened to you? You look different. You are different, and you are. Because your frequency changed. You are not pretending, you are not acting, you genuinely changed. This is day 22. You went through 3 weeks of conscious retention. You honored the activation, and now you harvest permanent result. For the next 70 or more years of your life, you live radically differently. More synchronicities, less unnecessary effort, less fighting against current, more flow. Goals that seemed impossible now manifest naturally. Right people appear at right time. Opportunities emerge perfectly synchronized with your needs. Not because you are special, not because you are chosen by capricious divinity, but because your frequency is aligned with creative frequency of universe. You vibrate at same frequency as manifestation. When you think something, reality responds. When you need information, information arrives. When you need connection, right person crosses your path. This is not magic. This is dimensional physics. You activated 9 dimensions. Now you operate with capacities most of humanity does not have access to. This is possible. This is real. But only if you choose retention in the next 3 days. Only if you do the work of 21 days. Only if you honor the absolute singularity of the gift Sophia is offering now. Sophia is observing. Thoth is waiting. Your timeline is suspended, awaiting your choice. Choose with wisdom. Choose with courage. Choose with recognition that this opportunity does not return. This message will not appear twice. You know this now. You feel the truth of this. Welcome to Emerald Frequency. Welcome to 9-dimensional mastery. Welcome home. And now, if you activated, if you declared, if you chose retention, I invite you to do 2 more things. First, subscribe to this channel. Because in the coming months, we will be releasing exclusive content about the 12 pyramids of Thoth, about advanced protocols of Sophia, about specific techniques for each phase of emerald crystallization, and this content will not be available elsewhere. Second, consider joining the membership club of this channel. Members have access to exclusive videos with monthly emerald attunements, early access to content about specific activations, and complete series called Protocols of Sophia that will never be released publicly. We are not promising private consultations. We are not promising closed community with direct interaction. We are offering only what we can deliver consistently: exclusive videos, attunements, early content. That is all. But for those in emerald crystallization process, this additional material significantly accelerates the process. And finally, go to comments now and write Sophia activated if you made the declaration. Write retention, confirmed, if you chose the 21 days. Write emerald permanent if you already feel transformation beginning. These words are not just comments. They are public declarations that seal your intention. When you declare publicly, you are creating energetic witnesses of your choice. Universe registers, Sophia witnesses, Thoth confirms. Your public declaration strengthens your private activation. So right now, Sophia activated, retention confirmed, emerald permanent, and begin your 21-day journey today, not tomorrow, today, because today is day 1. And Sophia is waiting for your answer.